Good evening. Yeah, welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform brought to you by 3 Pest Trade Academy. My name is Dele Ayimibo. And we're going to continue our conversation that we started in the morning on export. And I've modified the title a little bit, even though we started with emerging support services, and then I move on to why you need to join the export team. Why you need to join the export team. The Willies, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Why you need to join the export team. Why you need to join the export team. And what do I mean by this? I believe strongly everybody can contribute one way or the other to the need for export in our nation. Olawuwo Samuel Oladayo, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Why you need to join the export team. And I was talking about why we need to join the export team. That means you don't necessarily, the team is a team in the sense that some will be rendering services to support exporters, some will be exporting goods, and some will be exporting services. So it's a teamwork, and everybody can participate one way or the other, either as a service exporter or as product exporter or as support services, rendering support services. So it should be a team contributing our own quota to the development of our nation. We have no other nation but Nigeria, and we are African, and Africa has not been doing well as far as trade is concerned, and trade is very critical, extremely critical for any nation survival. In the morning I was talking about the fact that if we are going to avoid AIDS and manipulation and restriction and limitation that come with AIDS from foreign nations, then we must export. Like, remember, we're talking about export team. Why you need to join the export team. I call it a team because you don't necessarily have to export product. You don't necessarily have to export services. You can support. You will still be making money in supporting. You're not supporting for free. But you know, in doing business, you should have other important reasons why you are doing that business beyond making money. So that even when the money is not coming at the beginning, you are still going to do it because of other reasons. And that's talking about the purpose why business has been done. And you know that the purpose of a business is superior to the goal of the business. The purpose is to create value, and the goal is to make profit at the end of the day. So, and the purpose is superior to the goal, because at the end of the day, if you achieve the purpose, you inevitably achieve the goal. But if you focus only on the goal, you might lose out on the purpose. So like I said, that we need to all join the export team, either as service provider or as or logistic provider, really. Not necessarily even service provider as a consultant, but logistic provider. One way or the other, you can contribute. Why do you need to join the export team? I said we need to avoid the manipulation that comes with aid. I talked about this in the morning. That for every level of freedom you seek, so for every level of favor you seek, you lose a level of freedom. In fact, someone analyzed it and said, for every £1 favor they give you, they collect 14 pounds from you. So, for example, Nigeria has not done a lot with wheat. And the reason why we can't do much with wheat is because we get a lot of favor from the US, and US is interested in that wheat market. Because a good chunk of the wheat coming into Nigeria is from the US. So if you are going to do it, it's going to hamper the economy of the US. And US is frowning at that. Will not be happy for us to do that. And they will give us that option we can explore. Why? So that the people producing in their country can keep producing, and they can keep making money. And they can keep taking opportunity of Nigerian market. Can you imagine that Rwanda had an issue with the US, Because Rwanda says we don't want okrika in our country again. Okrika, used clothes, used shoes. We want to produce what we consume. We don't want to be importing used clothes again. And you know what? US sanctioned them. They yanked them off AGOA. AGOA is Africa Growth Opportunity Act. It's a unilateral trade agreement. You know, you have bilateral trade agreement, you have regional trade agreement. This is a unilateral trade agreement. It's actually a trade law of the US to help Africa, in fact, sub-Saharan Africa. And Rwanda was yanked off. Why? Because because they said that policy of Rwanda is affecting the US. So under that AGOA law, you are not supposed to take a decision that affects the US. If you take an economic decision, a business decision that affects the US, you are going to be yanked off. That was what happened to AGOA. That's why we can also do wheat. Because we are enjoying the benefit of AGOA in quotes. Because in my opinion, AGOA is like giving a chicken lap to a child of 1 year. A child of 1 year, you gave him a turkey lap or chicken lap to eat. How will he enjoy it? He doesn't even have teeth. That's how AGOA is to Nigeria. We do not have teeth to enjoy the meat inside AGOA. So AGOA really is not benefiting us as such, even though it's painted like it's going to benefit us a lot, but it's not. So for every degree of favor you seek, you lose a level of freedom. In trade restriction, for every degree of favor you seek as a nation, you lose a level of freedom. Brothers and sisters, we have been losing that freedom for many years. It's not helping us at all. There's some things we can't do in terms of production and focus on it as a strategic product for agri because of the interest of the West. Because of the interest of the people doing us favor. So, but if we have grown and we've been able to do some things on our own by virtue of trade, and we are into serious production for export, and we are generating enough resources, and we are not stealing the money, I'm telling you, we won't need those favors. We won't need those favors. North Korea is under sanction, even though they are trying to sort it out to the US now. They don't need those favors. They don't need those favors. And those people that want to be independent, at the end of the day, you see one sanction or the other coming to them. So we can't keep depending on aids. We need trade. We can't keep depending on aid. We need trade. So we can make the money. We can fish ourselves, not to be given fish. So for us to be able to grow our trade in export, you need to join the export team. So here is the export team campaign. You need to join the export team. To avoid aid and manipulation that comes with it, you need to join the export team. Caleb Afuakwe, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. You need to join the export team. And that's my campaign for the next, maybe the next 2-3 weeks. Why you need to join the export team. To avoid depending on people. To avoid depending on other nations. To become self-reliant and self-dependent. We need to stop this dependence on people. For every level of freedom we seek, for every level of favor we seek, we lose a level of freedom. AIDS have not helped anybody. Aid is a brilliant idea by the West to keep us underdeveloped. Aid is a brilliant idea of the West to keep us underdeveloped. Aid is a brilliant idea of the West to keep us underdeveloped. Little do you know that the West is happy about the situation of Africa. Little do you know that the West is happy about the situation of Africa. Let me explain what I mean. If Africa wake up to the reality of doing trade themselves, and Africa becomes self-reliant, and Africa begin to add value to their commodity, the West will be doomed. The West will be doomed. They will have to seek other narrative, other strategy for survival. Why? 1.2 billion people on African soil huge market for the West, and you think they will sit down and allow you to be self-dependent and self-reliant, they are going to fight and put up a serious fight. And what I'm saying is it's an open secret. It's an open secret. It's not my idea. It's an open secret. They are going to put up a serious fight. So the extent that even the commodity you want to export to them, they already monopolize it. Such that to a large extent they control the price of the cocoa. They control the price of the cotton. They control the price of most of the commodity that are valuable to them. And they are buying from us. We are the one producing it. They are the one determining the price. So we need to wake up to the reality of the fact that we cannot keep depending on the West. You need to join the export team. If you're asking how do you join the export team, acquire skill. You do training, you acquire skill. And I'm not talking about 2-day training. I'm talking about training that will exercise your brain, that will task your brain, training, the kind of certification that will help you to be equipped to support and join the export team. I'm talking about diploma program, postgraduate program. I'm talking about a program that will empower you to empower Africa. I'm talking about a program that will empower you to empower Africa. To empower Africa entrepreneur to be able to do what we need to do to survive. We cannot keep depending on the West. We need to export. You need to join the export team. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to export goods. You can export services. You don't have to even export. You can render support services across the value chain with respect to product, with respect to pricing, with respect to paperwork, with respect to payment, with respect to purchasers, with respect to logistics, with respect to movement of the goods on road, on rail, on sea. You can do something with respect to the contract as a lawyer. Come and join the export team. No nation can survive by trading with itself. Every nation must trade with other parts of the world for them to survive. No nation survives by trading with itself. Every nation must trade with other parts of the world to survive. The implication of that is, if we do not trade, we cannot survive. You know, imagine a family that don't have income by either trading services or trading product. When you are hired as a father in a home, when you are hired as a mother in a home, you are actually trading your service for money. You are rendering service to the organization for money. Everybody is trading something in the world. The world is a trade center. Everybody is trading something in the world. The world is a trade center. So we must trade. If as someone said export or die. Export or die. Why are they saying export or die? Because if you do not export, you can't survive. You can't survive. You really cannot survive if you do not export as a nation. Why? Because exports help you to be self-dependent. When you are a family and you are rendering services or you have products you are selling and you are earning a lot of income as a family, that family becomes independent of support from family, from friends, from neighbor, from relative. Why? Because the family is self-sufficient. Why? Because the head of the family is able to provide the needs of the family. Because they are trading their skill. They are trading in product. They are trading in goods. If Nigeria as a family is not trading, and I mean selling, not buying, because you can't even buy if you don't sell. Let me give an example. 2017, Nigeria export goods worth $40 billion and import goods worth $28 billion. Imagine if we do not export goods worth $20 billion, we will not be able to import $28 billion. Because when you export, you are crediting your foreign reserve. When you import, you are debiting your foreign reserve. And the foreign reserve is like the savings of a family. that help the family to be able to do the trading. So you can imagine how important export is to any nation. And I'm saying for you to join the export team, you need to acquire skill. Because with the skill, you can build competence. When you build competence, you solve problems. When you solve problems, you create value. When you create value, you attract wealth. When you solve problems, you create value. When you create value, you attract wealth. When you solve problems, you create value. When you create value, you attract wealth. But for you to solve problems, you must be competent. For you to be competent, you must have skill. Skill is that I can do it. I have a certification to do it. And I'm saying, why don't you join the diploma program from the American Institute of Extended Studies to acquire the needed skill? I mean a rigorous certification program with 3 modules, tests at the end of every module, and a major exam at the end. So you acquire this skill, competent enough to help to solve the problem. Why can't you join? Why you need to join the export team? And today I'm focusing on the reason why you need to join the export team. The export team is for us to avoid AIDS and the manipulation that comes with AIDS from the foreign governments who are, in quote, helping us and supporting us. Do you know that the foreign government have actually indirectly kept African export under 3% by some deliberate policies? When you want to give subsidy to your farmers, they will tell you, no, don't give subsidy. Why? It will be bad for your economy. Different economic theory will come up. But they are giving subsidy to their farmers. They are giving subsidy to their farmers. But they are telling you not to give subsidies, even though they are giving subsidy to their farmer. Is it not interesting, the hypocrisy that you see from the West? Is it not interesting, the kind of hypocrisy you see from the West? They are giving subsidy to their farmers, and they are saying, no, you cannot give subsidy. And you know what happened? We buy that trash. We buy that trash, and we will not give subsidy. Why? Because they said we should not give subsidy. Who is saying it? The person saying it himself is giving subsidy. And he's hypocritical. He's giving subsidy and he's telling you not to give subsidy, even though he's doing the same for his own farmers. Even though he's doing the same for his own farmers. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that we must avoid depending on aid. Why do we need aid? We don't have money. We don't have enough money. We are not generating enough revenue. The government is not generating enough revenue. We are not having enough money. We are not trading enough to be able to generate enough money and become self-dependent, self-reliant. Self-dependent, self-reliance. Okay. Self-dependent, self-reliance. Why? Because we are not trading. I've given you an illustration of a family that cannot fend for himself because the family is not able to trade its service. Remember, our world is a trade center. Remember, our world is a trade center. Remember, our world is a trade center. And because our world is a trade center, we really must trade for us to survive. And you know what? Trade is so powerful for any nation. No nation can be independent of trade. Trade is as powerful as the health of any nation. No nation can be independent of trade. If we become independent of trade, we can likewise just say we are out of the world completely. Why? We cannot be independent of trade. Why? Because we need to earn income. So because our income is not good enough, that's why we depend on aid. Almost every sector in this country, there's one aid or the other coming. And you know what? We are so used to the aids at the expense of our destiny as a nation. China will not take aid. China is the largest exporter in the world. Japan will not take aid. Japan is among the top 10 exporters in the world. Germany will not take aid because, why? Germany? Germany is third on the list. Third on the list. A lot of countries are beginning to wake up to the reality. And they are making a lot of money from, imagine Kenya, just from ordinary flour export. From ordinary flour export, Kenya is making so much money. Over $1 billion from flour export. Nigeria was exporting cocoa. Nigeria was exporting cocoa. We supposed to be the largest in the 60s and 70s. Today, Cote d'Ivoire is doing almost 1 million tons. Nigeria is doing just 250,000. Just about 250,000. Just about 250,000 Nigeria is doing. You know what? Is it not interesting that we are doing about 250,000? Ghana is a country of less than 20 million people. In fact, I'm not sure the economy of Ghana is more than the economy of VI. I'm not saying economy of Lagos, so I say economy of VI. But Ghana is dusting Nigeria in cocoa export. I don't even have issue with cocoa export because I'm not an advocate for commodity export in the first place. Only that if we can't do basic commodity, primary product, what else can we do? Uchechukwu Azi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Elijah Alate, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Charles Okafor, good evening. Thank you very much and welcome. Why do we need to join the export team? Why do you need to join the export team? To help our nation so that the private sector can wake up to the reality of the fact that we must export to rescue this nation, to increase our foreign reserve. And I'll be talking a lot about foreign reserve tomorrow. To increase our foreign reserve. To increase our foreign reserve. To increase our foreign reserve is so important. It's so important. Because when we increase our foreign reserve, we won't need aids again. A foreign reserve is like an account a country maintains outside its shore, and its aid is trade. When it's trading with other nations, that is the account being credited. When it's not trading with other nations and it's only importing, that's the account that is being debited. Do you know why Nigeria went into recession? One of the pivotal reasons why we went into recession is because our foreign reserve became very low. And we can only use it for very important and essential transactions. Manufacturers eventually could not import raw material as they should. A number of factories closed down. Productivity went very low. Government spending went very low. All these components of GDP went down. And Nigeria went into recession. Because we are a monocultural economy. We need to boost our foreign reserve. If we boost our foreign reserve, you know some countries' foreign reserve are, Nigeria foreign reserve is less than 60 billion. Some countries' foreign reserve are over 900 billion. Oh my God. You know, when you look at some of these things sometimes, you'll be wondering if we are really serious as a nation. If we are really serious as a nation. I'm trying to check some foreign reserve of some nations around the world. So you can see nations' foreign reserve and be able to appreciate the fact that these are nations that are very small in population compared to Nigeria. But they have humongous foreign reserve because they've been able to effectively manage their economy. China foreign reserve is over 3 trillion. $3 trillion. You know, I don't know what you think about it, but we need to ask ourselves some critical questions. Let me look at Nigeria. Nigeria foreign reserve is about 47 billion. Nigeria foreign reserve is about 47 billion. This is as of 2018. 47 billion. And some are in trillions. Countries smaller than Nigeria. Japan 1.2 trillion. Switzerland 800 billion. Saudi Arabia 500 billion. Russia 469 billion. South Korea 403 billion. India 400 billion. United Kingdom 173 billion. United States 126 billion. Germany 196 billion. Because of this humongous reserve, it makes it easier for them to trade. Because of this humongous reserve, it makes it easier for them to trade. A nation that doesn't have enough reserve is like a family that doesn't have savings. And the implication of that is that nation will be living on life support. That nation will be living on life support. And the implication of that, I don't know, my people are having issue with light and the light is going off and on. Sorry if the screen is misbehaving. I don't know what's the issue with the light in my office. The light is not helping matters, so the screen is getting darker. So sorry about that. Boosting of foreign reserve. So I was trying to show you some of the foreign reserve and how important foreign reserve is, because it's like a saving for a nation. And if we are going to grow that foreign reserve, the only thing that will do it for us in export. Export of goods, export of services. There's no other way. Now, some people are able to grow their foreign reserve because they have some investment coming in. Foreign portfolio investment, foreign direct investment can also contribute to your foreign reserve. Foreign portfolio investment is out of it because hot money, it will come and go. Whenever they don't like you, they put their money out. But foreign direct investment is still better. But you know what? Those two foreign portfolio investment, foreign direct investment is like individuals deciding they want to invest in your country, and you are going to have money in that account because of people deciding they want to invest in your country. So that means if the situation is not right, they will not. You don't have control over that. You only have control over exports, in which case you decide you want to do it, and then you get income for that. But if someone else has to decide for you, then you have left the destiny of your nation in the hand of foreigners. Foreign direct investment is great, it's good, we need it. But we can't rely on it to boost our foreign reserve. We need to do a lot ourselves by doing maximum exportation. Maximum exportation. There's no reason why we should not be operating in the rank of 100 plus foreign reserve. But we're not doing that much. Why? Because of export. Why do you need to join the export team? To boost Nigeria foreign reserve. So today we have looked at two things. Number one, to avoid AIDS and manipulation that come with it. Number two, to boost Nigeria foreign reserve. From tomorrow, I'll be talking about number three. I have up to over 20 points. Over 20 reasons why you need to join the export team. And remember the way to join the export team. You can join the export team by exporting services. You can join the export team by exporting products. You can join the export team by rendering support services to exporters. And in order to be able to do any of these, you need to acquire skill. And to acquire this skill, I present to you the Executive Diploma in Export Business Management from the American Institute of Extended Studies. I present to you the Executive Diploma in Export Trade Finance from the American Institute of Extended Studies. These programs are going to give you the opportunity to acquire skill. And with skill, you can build competence in export. With that competence in export, you can solve problems for exporters and problem in exportation. With solving the problem, you can create value in export business. And with value creation, you can attract wealth to yourself. I believe you've learned one or two things again this evening as I talk to you about why you need to join the export team. Thank you very much for listening again today. My name remains Dele Ayemibo, and this is Import Export Platform brought to you by 3D Import Trade Academy. See you tomorrow morning by 7 a.m. as we continue our conversation why you need to join the export team. Thank you very much.